Hello fellow RoboCrafters and welcome to the second video of my tutorial series. In this tutorial I will talk to you about Battle Arena and share some tips to help you improve your overall performance. Battle Arena is the most difficult game mode with the most objectives. Your main goal in order to win a Battle Arena match is to destroy the enemy's reactor. To do that, you have to overwhelm the enemy team, not only by destroying their bots like in other game modes, but also by capturing and defending towers. Eventually, if you succeed, the enemy shield will be disabled and the reactor will be exposed and easy to destroy. One of the reasons Battle Arena is fundamentally different from other game modes is the Overclock system. The Overclock system only exists in Battle Arena at the moment, and it's similar to the level system in other multiplayer games. Any actions during a match, like damaging, killing enemies, destroying crystals, etc., will increase your overclock points. Once you have enough points, the overclock level of your bot will increase, and as a result, your overall damage will increase as well, and your movement parts will be buffed. The highest overclock level is 15, and once you reach it, your weapons will deal maximum damage and the movement parts of your bot will perform a lot better. With that in mind, you should always keep an eye on yours and the enemy's overclock level to avoid going up against a much stronger opponent. Because of the overclock system, it's really important to defend towers and avoid being killed, because feeding the enemy team overclock points will make them a lot stronger, and your team will start losing all the team fights, which will cost you the match. As a general rule, the team with the highest overclock level overall wins the match. The Protonium towers are really important, and the team that controls most of them during a match will have the advantage. But what exactly makes them so important? First of all, capturing towers benefits both you and your team. That's because destroying Protonium crystals will increase both your overall score and overclock points, and when you take a tower, three things will happen. All your teammates will receive overclock points. All dead teammates will be respawned instantly. Your team will receive a special bonus. The first two don't really need an explanation, but what exactly are the tower bonuses? There are 3 towers, which means there are 3 bonuses as well. The first one is the fusion shield, which activates around your reactor and it doesn't only deflect enemy fire, but also heals any allies inside it. The second one is called Clock Cycle Booster, which generates overclock points for your team over time and also gives you extra overclock points whenever you do an action, and as a result you overclock a lot faster. When you capture the third tower, the enemy shield will deactivate, which will make it much easier to damage the enemy's reactor. Finally, there is another bonus you get, which stacks for every tower you own, and it's called Protonitivity. Protonitivity is the damage your weapons deal to Protonium crystals, which increases over time anyway in order to keep the match short, but you can increase it even further with towers, which means that the more towers you have, the higher your overall Protonitivity will be. There are 3 ways to capture towers. The beginner way, which is to destroy every single Protonium crystal. The intermediate way, which is to destroy the 2 rows of crystals connected to the tower. And the advanced way, which is to destroy only the necessary crystals which are connected to the tower. Destroying every single crystal works in low CPU battles since there are already many beginners, but capturing towers as fast as possible is essential to get the upper hand in a battle arena match, especially in high CPU battles. So I would recommend you to start practicing the intermediate and advanced ways as soon as possible. Finding the connection points is really easy, since they line up with these bright lines on the post of each tower. At the beginning of a match, the tower crystals are pink, which means they are neutral and much easier to capture, so make sure to use this to your advantage and capture as many towers as you can before the enemy does. Finally, if you become good at capturing towers, you can even steal towers from the enemies at the last moment by sneaking in and destroying the remaining blocks that are still connected to the connection points of the tower. Like with the plutonium towers, there are more than one way to destroy the plutonium reactor. The beginner way, which is to destroy every single plutonium crystal, and the advanced way, which is to destroy only the necessary crystals which are connected to the reactor. The differences between the reactor and the towers is that the reactor has 4 rows of crystals connected to it instead of 2, and the crystals are a lot more durable. This is why attacking the reactor too early is pointless, because your protontivity is too low and you will barely do any damage. Like with the towers, there is a way to find the connection points of the reactor quickly as well, since they line up with these beams. When you are ready to attack the reactor, start damaging the difficult parts first, which are the ones with obstacles in front of them, like the supporting arm of the reactor, or the ones you can't shoot from a distance. With the difficult parts gone, it will be much easier to end the game once the shield is down. After you destroy all the crystals, the game will end and you will see a short animation of the enemy reactor exploding. In order to maximize efficiency and avoid splitting up the team too much, only the necessary players should go to each tower, especially in early game. For example, the tower closer to your reactor is far away from the enemies and there is plenty of cover, so there is no need for more than one player to capture it unless there are enemies defending it. That way, the rest of your team can focus on defending or capturing the rest of the towers without being outnumbered during team fights. When you capture a tower, you and your team will get extra overclock points. With that in mind, it's really important to defend your towers and prevent the enemies from capturing them in order to keep their overclock level low. This is why you shouldn't capture towers you can't defend, unless you absolutely have to, for example when your shield is down or when most of your allies are dead and you want to revive them. Towers can provide you with cover when you're up against flyers, by simply hiding under them. But they are also a good counter for missile launchers. Yes, you heard me well. Once a missile launcher starts locking on you, you can simply hide or drive behind the tower and the lock will reset.
Your body fusion tower is under attack. Your body fusion tower is under attack.
In general, the best time for you to attack the enemy reactor is after you capture all the towers and your protontivity is high enough to destroy it quickly. But in some cases, attacking the reactor while the shield is up and damaging it as much as possible before the enemies kill you is a valid strategy as well. This tactic is called backdoor or suicide attack, and it can either win you the match if you know what you are doing, or lose it if you don't. So when should you use this tactic? In some matches, both of the teams are equal and the match lasts for too long, A match like this only ends if someone makes a mistake during a teamfight or if someone starts suicide attacks and destroys the enemy reactor little by little. Another reason to start suicide attacks is when you see the enemy team advancing too much. By attacking the reactor, you will force them to pull back in order to defend it, and you will give your team a fighting chance. I can't stress enough how important map awareness is, especially in Battle Arena, which requires good teamwork and strategy. When your team can see the enemies you spotted on the map, situations like a teammate encountering several enemies can be avoided. But that's not only it. If you know where the enemies are headed, you can intercept them and prevent them from advancing. At first, Battle Arena seems really complicated and confusing, but once you figure out the main objectives and you know where to focus, things become much easier. But that's only half of it. You also need to spend many hours practicing to maximize your performance, and since in every game you're up against a different team, you need to be able to come up with different strategies during each match based on the enemy's strengths and weaknesses in order to defeat them. This concludes my Battle Arena tutorial. If you liked this video and you want to see more tutorials in the future, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you for watching.